Today on Forbes, how the ultra-wealthy are protecting themselves against arson attacks, kidnapping, and worse. Billionaires are more concerned than ever about the safety of themselves and their families. Tensions spiked after the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December. Then came the January kidnapping of French cryptocurrency founder David Balland, who was held for ransom for 2 days while assailants mutilated his hand, followed by an April arson attack on the home of billionaire Steve Sarowitz by a suspect who also made ransom and kidnapping threats, according to prosecutors. These assaults have come as resentment toward the rich and powerful increases amid wealth inequality, overseas wars, and hyperpolarized politics. A recent Emerson survey, for instance, reported that 41% of voters aged 18 to 29 believe Luigi Mangioni's alleged murder of Thompson was, quote, acceptable. Mangioni has pleaded not guilty. Risk management company Nisos found that online threats against CEOs increased 41% as well in the 6 weeks following the shooting. All of this has led the nation's wealthiest people and the companies that employ them to seek out personal security at increased rates over the past few months, 13 firms tell Forbes. 5 companies said the number of inquiries for their services was among the highest ever, while 4 said it was the highest. Allied Universal, the biggest provider of private security guards in the world, says it's getting 1,500% more threat assessment requests than this time last year. James Hamilton, a consultant at Gavin DeBecker and founder of Hamilton Security Group, says, quote, a lot of companies are nervous right now. The firms that are newly investing in protection for their executives are at a disadvantage, he explains, because there aren't enough credible security outfits to cover everyone, and many are already tied up with long-term clients. He says, quote, if you say to me, hey, we just want to hire a guy for the next 90 days until things die down, well, I don't want to do that as a business owner. The shortage has also caused a spike in people pretending to be security experts online. The industry is regulated at the state level. Some jurisdictions have rigorous licensing requirements while others do not. The lack of national standards means many prospective clients have trouble distinguishing between specialists and scammers. Chris Falkenberg, founder of Insight Risk Management, says, quote, it's really, really easy to impersonate an executive protection person. There's a low barrier to entry. It requires you to get a state license, but that's just a few days for the training. To get a firearms permit, also quite easy. Then, you go buy a pair of sunglasses, and for all intents and purposes, you look like an EP person. Hiring a somewhat reputable bodyguard on the cheap might cost as little as $120,000 per year, but that's rarely what experts recommend to mitigate risk. In fact, most U.S. billionaires don't have a full-time bodyguard. Among the more common services, a team that monitors the internet for threats and leaked personal information. The typical cost for that at the most elite firms is $200,000 to $300,000 per year for sophisticated 24/7 coverage. Another common service is personal drivers who also have security training. Cost is $250,000 to $500,000 for 2 drivers. Then there's residential security, including cameras and armed guards, costing $750,000 to over $1 million. And of course, there's protection while traveling. Costs vary based on location. A full executive protection team, which tends to involve all of the above, plus part-time bodyguards who have medical training and professionals who secure sites before a billionaire arrives, costs at least $2 million, and frequently much more, with team members often making $200,000 each. This according to the experts polled by Forbes. These costs are sometimes covered by companies as part of executives' compensation packages. The U.S. tax code allows employees to write off that benefit as long as there's a demonstrable cause for safety concerns. Last year, Snap paid $2.8 million for CEO and co-founder Evan Spiegel's personal security. Alphabet paid $8.3 million for CEO Sundar Pichai. And Meta paid $24.4 million to protect Mark Zuckerberg and his family. For full coverage, check out Monica Hunter-Hart's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.